Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, once again, and welcome to Avenger Pretenders. That's right. The Geek and the Redneck, Sully and JT, are here once again to bring to you their thoughts, their opinions on the MCU. Tonight, the last episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi, as well as episode 3 of Miss Marvel. Get your snacks, get your adult beverages, and all that good stuff. Have a seat, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Sully, it's all yours.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Avenger Pretenders, like JT said. Hi. Thanks for everybody for sticking with us. Yes, for sticking with us. Because, well, if you don't stick with us, what more do you got? What more you got? You know, I'm just putting it out there.
Boredom?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, most likely boredom, yeah. I mean, it happens, you know. Just putting it out there.
Yes,
so, hello, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. As always, want to say hi to Carol, who's in our chat rooms pretty much always. Lady Death will probably be here a little bit later. Depends on what's going on with her her life at the moment. But, you know, obviously we hope and pray that everything turns out well.
Yes, we do.
Everything comes out A-okay, because that's how we roll. We care about our viewers and we care about our listeners, so on and so forth. So, as JT said, we are going to be talking about Ms. Marvel episode 3 as well as Obi-Wan Kenobi. We'll be doing Ms. Marvel first because I have a feeling Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to take up the rest of the show. Because we got lots to talk about when it comes to that. Ain't that right, JT?
You think? That's all I'm going to say right now on Obi-Wan Kenobi is, you think?
I mean, maybe just a little bit.
Maybe just a little bit.
I mean, it's out there, you know. So, yeah, so get strapped in because here we go. Ms. Marvel episode 3, Destined, is the title of the episode. By the way, you can watch all of these on Disney Plus. And Disney Plus does not sponsor this show, but it would be pretty cool if they did. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Full breakdown of the episode itself. So spoiler alerts are in effect. And we take place right after the wonderful situation where Kamala was picked up by Cameron and his mom. Yes. Cameron and his mom, the clandestines. And if you don't know who the clandestines are, they are.
Where the hell have you been?
They're what?
I said, where the hell you been?
Yeah, where have you been? You know, the clandestines are. They are a super team, but they're more from the world of X-Men, so to speak. I don't want to say they're mutants, but they are. And
they're lost souls wandering until they can finally get somebody to do what needs to be done to get them home.
Yes, which is true. But
Always a but.
I mean, there's a lot of interesting ties because the original team is not what they're showing in Ms. Marvel. Obviously, they're the I guess you could say the outcasts, so to speak.
Right.
And that's okay. That's okay. You know, it is what it is. But at the same time, I'm also kind of seeing that they may be tying things a little bit to the X-Men / Inhumans. Possibility. Jury is still out on this.
Making some tentative ties there.
Yeah.
I want to say hi to Bunky real quick. Good to see you, Bunkster.
Bunky.
Welcome to the show.
Bunky had his birthday last week.
Happy birthday to you.
We'll embarrass you more tomorrow. Just saying. So They come from the dimension Noor. And Noor, if you don't know, or Nur, when it comes to Marvel, we have a couple of supervillains from there, like MODOK, who basically is a flying head, which is true. Which you can watch
Way to
on.
explain it.
You can watch that on Hulu if you want. Hulu does not sponsor this show either, but just to keep that in mind, so that now we're kind of opening up more of the different dimensions. The multiverse is opening more, and like we talked about a couple of weeks ago, this is all due to Loki and them killing he who has remained. So there's a lot of shit going on. So I hope you watched Loki and you're watching everything else in between. But yeah, we'll continue on from there. And everything's kind of falling into place where Cameron and Aisha and all of them, they're telling Kamala how they can get back home. And they need her bracelets, or well, I keep forgetting the name of it. What the hell's the name of it?
Angle.
The bangle. Yes, thank you.
Remember,
JT.
walk like an Egyptian.
Right, I should remember that. I should, but I haven't been able to. So they need the other bangle in order to get home, and Kamala agrees to help. But Bruno, her best friend, is like, no. Don't. It could be bad. Bad heathens, be gone. Move along. And I thought it was funny that when Bruno was doing his research on this, Kamala's father came into the store. And he's, they're all buddy to begin with anyway. So they're saying,
You're good friends.
he's like, oh, you're studying my people's history here. Let me help you with it. And he just shoves himself right into the situation.
Yeah, I can tell you a little bit about this.
Let me read this. Let me Oh, this is old Arabic. This has been said to, and starts just translating things. And you can see the look on Bruno's face where he goes from, I'm going to research, I'm doing my computer work, to, I think Kamala's going to get in trouble, and I don't want Kamala to get in trouble. So let's avoid that at all costs. Let's avoid getting in trouble. So, Bruno says to her, hey, this could be dangerous. I don't think you should help him. Things can get really bad. So she decides to ask Cameron one more time to ensure that everybody's going to be safe. Nobody's going to get hurt with this, so on and so forth. And, of course, Cameron's like, yeah. Everything will be fine. You'll be okay.
Rolling along.
You'll be okay. All right?
Yeah, you'll be all right.
You'll be fine is what it's called. You'll be fine. Which we know, I think everybody knows that the minute you say, hey, you're going to be fine, it doesn't always work out in our favor. It really doesn't. It doesn't work out in our favor at all when it comes to that. Because,
especially not for us.
Well, yeah, and like I said, Marvel tends to keep things real, like as real as they can anyway, when it comes to things. And they're doing a pretty good job of it. She's a teenager. She's starting to fall in love. But then finds out other shit's hitting the fan. Because
that's a nice way of putting it, I mean.
Well, I mean, it's true.
I could think of several other ways to describe it, but shit hitting the fan is a good one.
It's shit hitting the fan. And let's face it, no show, whether it's Marvel or, any other type of TV show that's out there, drama, crime drama, mystery, science fiction, this shit's going to hit the fan.
Right.
No matter what. And there's nothing we can do about it.
Not even we're trying to.
Like, we as the viewers, there's nothing you can do about it. It's just shit's going to hit the fan, And it turns out that Najma is getting impatient with Kamala. And decides that, you know what, if Kamala doesn't want to help us, we're going to force her to help us, and then we're going to kill her.
Yeah, I like how Cameron was trying to say, hey, she just needs a little bit more time, and Kamala, and she's like, no, we've waited too long. It's time to go.
We want to go home. It's kind of like, I like to make the analogy of it's kind of like a 6-year-old that wants a toy.
Mm-hmm.
The 6-year-old's going to bug you and 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 get you to the point where you say, no, 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 no. And you're screaming and fighting and arguing. That's what this whole situation is. She's being a 6-year-old who wants a new toy. And her mommy and daddy are saying, no. But in the end, they decide, all right, well, I can't force you, I can't stop you, so you're going to do what you're going to do. Cameron decides to take it upon himself to leave and go tell Kamala that, hey, you're going to get dead. That's what's going to happen. Yeah. You're going to get dead. So we turn to Kamala's brother, Amir, and it's Amir's wedding day. 3 episodes in, and we're celebrating a wedding. Oh, I love weddings.
Yeah, they're all right.
Weddings are fun.
They're all right.
You're going to cry like a baby when it comes to your daughter's wedding.
That's why I'm thinking about not going.
But
no, I'll be there.
It's a wedding. It's a party. It's going to be a feel-good time, right? Well, what happens at big gatherings in Marvel films? You could see it coming a mile away.
Somebody puts a fork in the microwave?
Almost.
Well, that's one of my other versions of the shit hitting the fan,
I mean, I believe there was a fight in the kitchen, but let's go on first. They do the whole ceremony with Amir and his fiance getting married to Tisha, right? Or Taisha? I think it's Taisha. And, wedding's a wedding. They have the ceremony. They're having some laughs. They're having a good time. And then they get into the reception. And, of course, it's a reception. It's a party. You're going to have people picking people up, dancing around the floor, having a grand old time, And Cameron decides...
The big thing these days is the choreographed dance.
Oh, yes.
Either the bride or the groom or one of those two.
The choreographed well, for them it's more tradition anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, just like Samoans.
Mm-hmm.
People of Samoan heritage, they do specific chants and wedding dances and stuff like that at the reception.
Yep.
And it's you either have all the men or all the women, or you have some chants where both are doing this. Same thing with the Indian culture. They do the same thing. Or not just Indian, but Middle Eastern culture. We'll say Middle Eastern because, yes, they're from Pakistan, but you have these different heritages that, no, this is what we used to do this at the wedding. You better know this dance, because if you don't know this dance, it's going to look like crap, and you don't want that. So they do what they need to do in order to keep their rituals going, so to speak. So we're seeing a party. Even Bruno's getting involved because, Bruno is Kamala's date, having a grand old time. They're doing what they need to do. He also tells Kamala at that point in time that he got into MIT, which is amazing. And also ties to Spider-Man No Way Home. Ho ho. Ho ho ho. MIT. Go watch Spider-Man No Way Home if you haven't done so yet.
I didn't catch that part.
Yep. Oh yeah, I caught it right away. I caught it.
Of course you did.
Well, I mean, come on. I've seen Spider-Man No Way Home like 17,000 times already because it's just a sweet movie. That's besides the point. So yeah, I mean, you have those little nods to other movies and TV shows that are in the MCU that are still happening. Right. And while the party's going on, they're having a grand old time, and Cameron shows up to crash the party.
Y'all better get out of here.
Well, but that was the thing. It was a good way of crashing the party. It was like,
yes,
hey, listen.
Exactly. He was crashing it to try to help them, warn them.
Yeah. And for him, it's a different type of situation because he could get in really big trouble for doing what he did. Yeah, especially since I believe he also helped Kamala fight some of them off.
When she was trying to help Bruno, he stopped an attack from behind, if I remember.
Yes. He was trying to be good about it, so to speak. So the clandestines arrive, and Kamala, Bruno, and Cameron are completely overpowered, but Kamala held her own.
Yes, she did. She knocked out 5 guys in one.
Yeah, that was cool.
But here's one of the things that I love best about that entire fight scene.
Yeah.
Bruno is not a fighter.
No, he's
Bruno
not.
does not know his ass from a hole in the ground when it comes to getting into a fight.
Bruno's a nerd.
But yet, he did the right thing when he jumped in to help Kamala when she was about to get hurt.
Yes.
And he went flying backwards and slammed into the wall with his shoulder. And, he knew he was going to get hurt, but he still went in. So, I really like that part about it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And for him, it was, that's my best friend and I love her. Because let's face it, he is the love interest. He does love her.
He's in love with her, but I don't think it goes back the other way.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either. But at the same time, it's also because she was gaga for Cameron. So, it is what it is. But
when you see that deer in the headlights look and everybody else in the world disappears and it's just that other, that's that over heels.
You mean he's so dreamy.
Yes,
he's
that's
so
the
dreamy.
One. That's the one that I've never got. So.
The dreaminess of it all is what it is, folks. The dreaminess. So we see that, yes, they're overpowered by the clandestines, but she's holding her own. Yes. And I mean, she's doing really well
amazingly well for as young as she is and for as non-knowledgeable as she is about the bracelet and what it do.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that has to do with it is some of the training that her and Bruno had already done of practicing and doing what they needed to do, which worked. And overall,
I think a lot of it's just instinct for her too.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
Like when she took out the 5 guys, that wasn't a train of thought that made that happen. She just went, bang, the hand came out and said,
and they all went flying, which was amazing. Yeah. And I mean, this fight, not only did it happen in the main hall, but it happened in the kitchen, back to the main hall. And I do have to say that before the fight happened, Kamala was the one who pulled the fire alarm to, quote, ruin the wedding, which, oof.
Everybody else thought it was to ruin the wedding, but we know
Yes, we know it's
that
to
it
save
was
everybody.
to save their asses.
And
And I'm going to put it out there straight. Yeah.
well, yeah, no, absolutely. But you can see, like, for Kamala, it was fight or flight, and a lot of it was she knew she was outnumbered.
Yeah.
But because she's a Captain Marvel fan and an Avengers fangirl, she knew that she had to fight. So we get to the point where the fight's pretty much almost over, and they're still trying to get the bangle off her, and they're still trying to kill her. And they flat out told her, listen, if you don't give it to us, you don't help, we're going to kill you. Well, now as they're fighting, what was it? Naja, I believe it was. She grabbed the bangle and tried to use it. And there was like some type of vision of a train that popped up. And, that whole freeze on time type thing. And
Well, it was Kamala that had the vision.
Yeah, Kamala had the vision, but it was Naja that grabbed her arm to use the bangle to, transport them home or wherever, and a vision of the train popped up, and that's where she saw that vision in full, and then managed to take them all out, and they were able to run. Her and Bruno were able to get out of there, and just as the DODC, Department of Damage Control, folks, showed up to arrest them all. And I mean all of them. They wanted Kamala, they wanted Bruno, they wanted everybody. In this case...
Well, and they're deaf. I mean, how could they not hear them open that door and close that door? Because there is no way in hell to open and close those kind of doors
right
silently. It just ain't going to happen.
Yeah, no, you're going to get an echo.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to get
so
an echo.
How did they not hear that? It's like, come on, really?
Dramatic emphasis.
Yeah, but you still got to sit there and go, really?
What was that?
I mean, I realize they need to do that because she needs to get away and everything, but
did really? You hear a door close?
I mean, you could have at least done one of those.
I think I heard...
where a guy looks that way and the door's closed, so there's no, he doesn't do anything, but it's like...
Yeah, I think I heard a door close, but I'm not sure.
Exactly.
I'm not sure. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I think I heard something. You know what? Let's just forget all that, and we're going to arrest these 5 people because they're the ones that are here. Which is what happened. DODC arrested the clandestines, and Cameron was one of them. They took Cameron without even thinking about it. So now Kamala and Bruno, they're out. They've escaped, and Kamala's best friend Nakia saw her using her powers, and almost a full-fledged best friend breakdown. And what I mean by that is she went, how could you? Like, how could you not tell me? It was you the entire time. Like, total, ugh. And at the same time, Bruno's like, stop. We have to go.
Yeah, this is not the time for that.
And Kamala flat out says, I promise I will tell you everything. I will tell you everything. Just please keep it to yourself. Don't say a word.
Right.
And they ran. They got out of there. They got out of Dodge. Which they needed to do. Because otherwise the DODC would have arrested them and held them. And you don't want that. Especially now, since we're 3 episodes in.
Would not be a good thing.
Now they get home, and mommy and father, brother, and sister-in-law are all home. And that turned into a, did you ruin your brother's wedding? Are you okay? I'm glad where have you been? We've been worried sick. Where were
At
you?
least they did the "we care about you and we're glad you're okay" thing before they
Yes,
started.
but before they started to chew her ass out on ruining the wedding. Which, technically, she didn't really ruin the wedding, but we understand.
Right.
We understand that, that's what they would think. And at the same time, she gets all berated. And I got to give Kamala props for, I can't talk about this right now. This is not, no, you know what? I'm tired. I can't talk. No, I can't talk to you right now. And goes upstairs. She goes upstairs.
Let's talk about this later.
Yep. She goes upstairs to her room, and then her phone rings. And on her phone was her grandmother, Sana. And she says, I saw the vision too.
Did you see the train? I saw the train.
I saw the train too.
The train.
The train.
Sorry.
No. The plane. The cinnamon. I want the cinnamon too. So from there, Sana says to her, you need to come to Moonba. Moonba? Am I saying that right? Moonba?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure where she said.
Not sure. Muniba?
It could have been Mumbai.
No, because I think it was she wanted her mother to come with her. And they have to go to Karachi. That's where they want she has to come to Karachi to meet up and see her, because there's more to this story than meets the eye. And that's where the episode ends. It was a half-hour episode, nothing big. Probably like 35 minutes, 40 tops. But half-hour episode. No mid-credit scene, no post-credit scene. Hey, you need to come out to Karachi so we can meet up and discuss what we just saw. All in all, I will say that this episode is probably better than the first two. I'm still going to give it a 3.5. And the half is more for the fight scene at the wedding, mostly due to the effects, the way the fight was happening, and the way Kamala was portraying herself as, hey, I'm a hero, but you know what? I'm going to get my ass kicked. So I'm going to hide under this table too so I don't get my ass kicked. And right. Oh, by the way, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Which worked out perfect. Yeah. But it did. It worked out perfect for her. Because, again, she's 16 years old. She's brand new to this.
Right.
Not like Peter Parker, who was 15 at the time, and not only fought 3 aliens, but a shit ton of aliens, and didn't go toe-to-toe with Thanos, but it would have been cool to see that.
Would have been interesting.
But he did hold the gauntlet, so kudos to Spidey for that. And it worked. So, big difference if you're going to compare the two teenagers. Really big difference.
Well, and he had people that were helping him.
Oh, absolutely. Hands down.
He had the support of the Marvel Enterprise, or whatever you want to call it, working together, getting him
the Avengers.
And
he was an Avenger, damn it.
Yeah, thank you. Getting him the new suit and training with them and things like that. So he had help, whereas the only help she has
Bruno.
is Bruno.
And we don't talk about
who,
Bruno.
Well, in this case, we do, but
I'm going to
not
make
much.
that joke every time.
Yeah, I know. It runs through my head every time or two.
Right? That's the whole point.
But and he's learning just as she's learning.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they're both behind the curve. But like I said, in the fight scene, she kind of some of the stuff she does in the fight scene, you could tell that she's trying to do.
She's holding back.
And some of the stuff that she does in the fight scene, you can tell that when she did it, she was like, that was cool. How'd I do that?
Yeah.
Kind of reaction to it. So, I liked how they worked it too.
Yeah. So for me, I'm giving it 3.5 Bengals, just because the fight scene did bump it up. I'm hoping that it gets a little more intense in the next 3 episodes, because there are only 3 episodes left, and we'll see where we're going with that. What about you? What do you give it?
I'm at 2.5.
Ooh.
Still having issues about the Bengal, and not we got a small snippet
Yeah.
of the story behind the Bengal and everything. And to be honest, I was like at 1 3/4 until the fight scene. The fight scene jumped it way up for me.
Okay.
The fight scene was the best part of the episode without any question. Hands down the best part of the episode. It made the episode. I'm stuck on this Bengal though, man. We need to know more about why this Bengal works the way it does.
And why she's
I'm hoping with them going to Pakistan, or supposedly going there. We don't know for sure. I'm hoping that by doing that, we finally get at least the base of what the deal is with the bank.
Yes, I agree.
If we get that, then I can guarantee you everything is going to be at least a point higher, because then I'm not sitting there, not sitting here going, what's with the damn Bengal?
Right?
Give me the Bengal story.
And don't get me wrong, we did see a little bit of that.
Very little. We got a little bit in episode 2 when they were at the fair, and they went to Kamala, sitting around all the older ladies who were gossiping and talking about her, the one that ruined the family name and all that, and then we got another small snippet of it here.
But that was just a small snippet.
Stop giving me baby spoonfuls of stuff. Give me a freaking tablespoon.
I want to take a bite.
Okay, let me, give me something I can hold on to and say, okay, now it makes sense, because none of it makes sense yet.
Right. And
that's my problem.
And that's the thing. It's not making any sense, especially since they, like I said, she's an Inhuman.
Yeah, and for somebody like me who is outside of the world, it makes even less sense.
Yes.
What's to say that I wouldn't go to a garage sale and say, hey, that's a cool looking watch, and put the watch on and it's the same damn thing.
Right. Makes sense.
I don't know why.
So 2.5. That's not bad.
2.5. Initially a 1.5.
So you brought it up a whole point, because last week's episode you were down to like a 1.
Well, and the fight scene is what brought it up to a 2.5.
Yeah.
The fight scene, in my opinion, was that good.
We need more.
Yes.
Speaking of
more Bengal, more fight.
Speaking of more, let's get into our second episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi, episode 6, or part 6. Part 6. Woo! Boy. It is a great time to be a Star Wars fan.
Oh, man.
A real Star Wars fan, mind you. A real Star Wars fan. I would love to have like a special podcast sometime where JT and I are just talking Star Wars with a couple of other people. And oh my God, we would all be in agreement that the fans that are hating things, you're not fans. You're not Star Wars fans. You're bandwagon junkies that want to get a reaction out of people. Especially
the ones that are throwing the race card out.
Yep. Which we've mentioned. we've mentioned
And
time and time again.
yeah, and the ones about, well, why do they have? She's a terrible actress. Well, one, she's a freaking 10-year-old kid,
Yeah,
and two,
she's a
she's
kid.
acting the way she's supposed to act because she's a spoiled freaking princess.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
the to me, the haters are the people that are throwing the race thing out there, and the ones who are throwing out the terrible actor or actress lines.
Oh, hands down.
They may be Star Wars fans, but they're just idiots.
Yeah.
They're stupid. They're idiotic. They're the ones that have to be picking on something because, in all honesty, through 6 episodes, I didn't find anything really to nitpick about
Oh, yeah,
in this
no.
episode. Mandalorian, I found stuff, in
Book of Boba Fett, you did.
Book of Boba Fett. I found a couple of small things, but nothing major. This one, I didn't find anything other than the. I wouldn't really say it was a problem, but I had a little bit of an issue with trying to hold the water back. Trying to stop the window from breaking in
Yeah, but
when they were fighting under the water. But then I remembered, hey, he's rusty, fuck.
well, that
So
and you have to remember that with that they've done that in the animated series of Clone Wars.
Mhm.
So it was a callback to that. But yes, you were absolutely right. He's rusty.
yeah, very rusty.
Very
10
rusty.
years, 10 years of not using his powers, and now all of a sudden he's got to, in a week's time, he's got to throw out and stop a
Yeah.
window with thousands and thousands of pound force of water,
Absolutely.
and he's got to try to stop this window. And so when I thought about that, I'm like, okay, I understand.
Makes perfect sense.
So,
Perfect
in this episode, really, I haven't found anything to pick on.
Yeah. So in this episode, we start off on Tatooine. We're back to Tatooine, and we see it was, I think it was in Mos Eisley. It was in Mos Eisley, and we see Groff Ditcher. If you don't remember who Groff Ditcher is, he is the foreman that Obi-Wan works for, of carving all the meat and everything. And he jumps into line, basically cuts a line and knocks things over, grabs water, and he's like, "You got something to say?" Like being all, "I'm a tough guy. I'm bigger than you. I'm a tough guy. I'm gonna kick your ass." And
He's a bully. He's a bully.
Reva shows up.
Yeah, I got something to say.
And she goes, "Yeah, that's exactly what she did. Yeah, I got something to say." And pushes Groff out of the way. And she says to the vendor, "I'm looking for Owen Lars."
No, all she said was, "I'm looking for a farmer named Owen."
Farmer named Owen.
I mean,
Yes.
that could be a lot of it. There could be several Owens that are farmers.
Yes. But in this case, we know that it's not, because we're tying it to the previous episode where Reva found where Luke is being held. And at the same time, Darth Vader is being Darth Vader. He's going after Obi-Wan Kenobi and calling Roken's freight transport with all these innocent people on it, shooting them. And he says that Roken says the hyperdrive's going to get fixed. It's almost ready. Meanwhile, it's not.
But I need more time.
And it gets to the point where they're going to Tessin. One, because it's out of the reach of the Empire, and two, it's kind of like their junction point for the resistance, for the rebellion, so to speak. And another way to get Leia home. So Roken talks to Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan does his Jedi thing. How much time do you need? So on and so forth. And then tells him that the motivator's damaged and they're running out of time. And the cool thing is Leia, like, you can see Leia's character growing in this, because she's now using her droid to comfort Karan and his mother. And you can see all this happening. Now, again, if you don't remember who Karan is, he's the force-sensitive child from episode 2, I believe it was. And Hajo was the one that was helping them get off planet. And he did. He did help them get off planet. So that's one thing, that now they're back on the same transport. They're back together. And, oh boy. Yeah. Kenobi is a smart cookie. Smart cookie, because he asks to borrow Lola just for a little bit. Just for a little bit. And then, of course, we fast forward. We're back on Tatooine. And Luke and Owen are now visited by the mechanic in town, so they could get a new belt for their speeder. And the man tells Owen that somebody's looking for you. And oh boy, he tells them who it is. And like you could just see the look on Owen's face drop, like, oh shit, here we go. You know? Never a good thing. Never a good thing. Then it comes back to Roken's ship. We're back on the ship. I mean, this is like just within what? First 10 minutes?
Yeah, there was a lot of jumping around in this episode, but every jump made sense.
Oh, without a doubt.
Every jump made perfect sense.
It was as if they were showing how I don't want to say how it was happening, but it's as if it was showing it as it was happening. So, yeah, the mechanic comes to Owen, tells him, hey, somebody's looking for you. You got Reva doing her thing at the same time off screen, but you also have the Obi-Wan and Roken and the rest of the passengers on the ship being pursued by Darth Vader. So it's
the only way you can show things that are happening concurrently.
Yeah.
Simultaneously, that's the word I'm trying. It's the only way that you could show those things going simultaneously.
Right.
And they followed that timeline with each cut.
Oh, and it worked perfectly. It really did. The editing was phenomenal.
Very well choreographed, because this was a dance.
Yes. Oh, it was.
This was a dance between scenes. So
it was. So we're back on the ship, and Obi-Wan has decided that he's going to leave. Because he's a Jedi. Jedi do the selfless thing. They go out and they protect life. He doesn't want those passengers to die. And Anakin knows that that's his weakness. So he's going to keep bombarding that ship until he gets Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I got to tell you, my favorite line, or one of my favorite lines from this episode, was increased firepower.
Yes.
Now, normally when you say increased firepower, you go from, like, say, an M16 to an M60, or an M60 to an M50 cal, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Increasing firepower on the ship was fire 4 times as many shots.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
That would be increased fire, not increased firepower.
Yeah.
That would just be simply increased fire. And I laughed about that. And I made the comment to Kay, and she even laughed about it. So,
well, because it's not technically militaristically realistic.
Right. It was just funny. Increased firepower.
Well, he does. He increases firepower. A lot more lasers are being shot.
But that's just increasing fire. You go from shooting the little deck guns to shooting the freaking ones that go like the big ones.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
That recoil, that's increasing fire.
Absolutely. So one of the things that's happening now is when they're on the ship and he's pleading with all the passengers, you have to let me go. It's
That was the
me he
coolest thing,
wants.
because they're like, what about us staying together? We need you.
Yeah, we need you. Which is,
That was
yes,
really,
absolutely. They did need him, but they didn't.
yeah. And in the real world, if something like that was to happen, 90% of the people in there would say, okay, get the hell out of here. What are you waiting for?
Yeah. And
You
don't get me
know,
wrong. In this instance, yes, it is a dark time. People need the hope. But that's
Yep.
what they weren't realizing when he was on the ship with them was, yes, you do need me. You need me to be your distraction.
Yep.
So you can get away. And he finally convinces them this is the way it's going to be. This is the plan. I have to do this. If it means getting you and Leia and everybody else safe, that's what needs to happen. And
And then there was,
he even has Haja look after Leia.
yep.
And Haja's like, I'm
And
not a babysitter. Yeah, you are.
he's like, you have my word, even though I don't know how much take the word of a thief and a fake Jedi, and even then, because Obi-Wan pretty much knows his heart now,
Yeah.
says, your word is good enough for me.
Yeah.
Then he turned around and he made a promise.
Yes, the promise. Oh, yeah.
He made a promise to Leia because Leia asked him, come home, come back.
Yep, come back.
And I watched his face and I watched his eyes. And for a millisecond, he's like, I can't promise her that.
Right.
But then his eyes changed and he looked at her and said, promise.
I promise. We will see each other again.
That's a lot for him to say, knowing where he's going and what's going to be up against.
Yep.
At that point in time. So, kudos to him on that.
Yep. And yeah, as he walks away, we've got Owen and Luke returning back to the farm. We also have Owen telling Beru, hey, Reva's coming. We need to stand our ground.
He wanted to run.
Well, yes, but Beru wanted to run.
No. He wanted to run. Beru wanted to stay and fight.
Owen wanted to run.
She was the one that said, we are enough.
Yes, we're enough, and that's all he needs.
I like that. I like that she was the one that said,
Beru's badass.
We are enough. Beru is one tough-ass little woman.
And Beru is badass, let me tell you. And they start grabbing hidden blasters from throughout the farm, and they start staging it and doing what they need to do for Reva to show up. And then we're back to the ship. We're back to Roken's ship. And Haja had a heart-to-heart with Leia.
Yes.
Heart-to-heart with Leia. And basically Leia gives Obi-Wan the okay to go.
That was where he made the promise during that.
It's where he made the promise, and he tells, get her home. She's your responsibility now. Get her home. And it's interesting what they did, because at the same time, Obi-Wan Kenobi gives Leia Tala's gun holster.
Yep.
With all the check marks in it for every Jedi that she helped. And he says, I think she would want you to have this. Make sure it's a remembrance thing,
But it's empty. I'm going to give you a blaster. You're 10 years old.
You're 10. I'm not going to give you a blaster.
I love that. I bust out laughing when that happened.
I was dying with that one. I really was.
Yep. That was one of the funniest lines in the entire show.
Oh, it was fantastic. It was.
And perfectly timed.
It was so good.
Perfect time.
It really was. It was very good timing on their part. And that's when Kenobi goes into his dropship and he goes out of the ship. Even though Roken's like, no, come on, stay. You gotta stay. We can do this. And he goes, you need my help. This is how I'm gonna help you. And he leaves. Not only does he leave, but he breaks off, and Vader gives the command. Well, his Inquisitor, the Grand Inquisitor, tells Vader you should pursue the ship.
Can end the rebellion now.
Can end it now. And Vader decides, nope, we're going after Kenobi. Which is, hey. Yeah, he didn't question Vader after he said it, which I thought was interesting. He did not question him at all.
Would you question Vader?
Nope.
And that's exactly why he didn't question him. But you saw the little kind of, subliminal shrug.
Yes.
That the Grand Inquisitor did when he said, "Follow Kenobi."
Follow Kenobi. And
okay.
because the Inquisitor wanted to end the path. He wanted to do what he needed to do, and instead now the Devastator is now going after Kenobi instead. And this is when things start getting very interesting. Very interesting. Obviously, Roken's ship makes it to safety because the Devastator is now chasing Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan is going to a nearby planet. At that same exact time, Reva is on her way to the Lars family farm. Now, I thought this was pretty cool of Owen and Beru to tell Luke that it's the Tusken Raiders. The Tusken Raiders are on their way here. They're attacking farms. We're going to plan and stay and fight, but if something happens, you run.
Run like the wind, Luke.
Run to the canyon, I believe the exact words were. Run to the canyon. And don't stop. And they both reassured Luke, you're gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. We'll be fine. We'll be together. We're good.
They did just like you would do with Sammy, and
absolutely, they would do what any parent would do.
Yep.
Protect their young.
Most parents
protect their young, and fight for what's theirs. Now, at the same time, when this is happening, I'm saying to myself, you're going up a former Jedi / Grand Inquisitor / Inquisitor who is not 100% one with the Force, has some rage going on.
Just a little bit of rage.
But is also scared.
Right.
So, while that's happening, Vader is still chasing Kenobi, and Kenobi lands on a rocky moon. It's one moon that's just rocks everywhere. Everywhere. Oh, it was wonderful. I'm saying to myself, this is going to be a big fight. Yep, stalagmites, stalactites, rocks everywhere. It's a barren moon. And Vader says, I'm going to handle this myself. Ready my shuttle. Takes the shuttle, and they go down. He goes down. And while that's happening, Kenobi takes Lola and leaves Lola right on the console of the ship. And walks out. No robe, no Jedi robe, just him, his lightsaber. He's ready to go. Then we cut back.
I think that was a tactical move on his part.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I really do, because the way you can move when you have this big ass flowing freaking robe,
yes,
on you in a fight, and the way you can move when you don't have, and you can't. It's not light. That thing's heavy.
Yeah, it's a heavy robe.
and the way that you can move when you don't have that on you.
Yep.
Totally different creature.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hands down.
So definitely, in my mind, a very tactical move on
Hands
his
down.
part that worked out in his favor.
And at the same time, now mind you, this is all happening all at once. And this just goes to show how parallel the story is. Because
We could literally sit here and tell you one entire storyline. We could sit here and tell you the Owen and Luke storyline. All the
I
way
bet
through from start to finish, and then go back and do the same thing with Reva, and then go back and do the same thing with Obi-Wan and Darth.
Yeah, I bet you
And
I
it would
could
still be seamless.
probably take both scenes, re-edit it so it was parallel with each other, and it would match up, hands down. Because as Reva's approaching the farm, Vader is approaching the planet. So, same story, parallel lines going on that are
like
all
I said, an extremely well choreographed show. I mean, amazingly well choreographed.
Oh, yeah. And what I love about it is Vader is now out of the shuttle. He's walking on the planet, and he finds Kenobi just standing there waiting for him. And the full circle here. Full circle. The last time they fought, and I'm not talking about in the beginning of the series, the last time they fought, Vader said that he was going to do whatever he needed to do to take him out, because if you're not with me, you're my enemy.
And he literally asks Obi-Wan, "Are you here to kill me?
Are you here to kill me?" And Obi-Wan says, "I will do what I must." Never says yes, never says no, but it's full circle tying it to Revenge of the Sith from when they last fought. Like, major fought. Because let's face it, the last time, Vader was so overpowered of Obi-Wan that he just wiped the floor with him. Obi-Wan didn't really get to do anything. You know?
Well, and the biggest thing in that was Obi-Wan had the high ground, and he told him, "Don't do it, Anakin. I have the high ground."
I have the high ground.
But Anakin being Anakin, or I guess I could say Anakin being Darth, because this is when Darth took over.
A little bit of both.
You know, he still followed through with the attack.
Yep.
I mean, basically, he was that era's customer.
Yep. Now, the cool thing with this is, and again, a lot of callbacks, okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When Obi-Wan says, "I will do what I must," Vader says, "I am going to kill you.
Then
you will die.
And then you must die."
Then you must die. Which is a callback to the previous shows. We've seen that before in Clone Wars. We've seen it in Rebels, when there was an episode where Ahsoka found out that Anakin was Darth Vader, and she vowed not to leave him. And Anakin / Vader said the same exact lines. "Then you will die." And that's it. That's all they said.
I've got to tell you. I've got to tell you.
Yes.
5 lightsabers.
Just for
actually,
this?
no. Actually, no. 6 lightsabers for this fight.
Oh, wow.
The fight between Anakin / Vader and Obi-Wan.
Oh, yeah.
Hands down,
it was
one
amazing.
of the best that I mean, to me, it was on par with when all of the Avengers were attacking Thanos.
Which is pretty damn good.
Exactly.
If you ask me.
This fight scene. I mean, the fight scene where that Obi-Wan was remembering back when Anakin was still his Padawan and everything, that happened earlier in the series.
Yep.
That was a 5.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a fight. So you think about it, you've had 10 years plus since that training fight, 10 years of all the animosity and everything building up in Darth, 10 years of all the pain and the torture and everything that Obi-Wan put himself through when it came to Anakin and
Yeah.
everything. And it's literally like 20 years of pain and anguish and anger and everything coming head to head and colliding like two giant freaking rams.
Oh,
That is the only way, literally the only way I can describe this fight scene. It
yeah.
was, excuse the French, I know we can do it on the show, but it was fucking awesome. 6 lightsabers for this fight scene.
It was. And we hadn't even seen the whole thing. They just started dueling because then they cut right back to what's happening on Tatooine, where Reva's approaching the farm, and now she's under fire from Owen and Beru that are blasting at her. And she gets hit. She does get hit. But of course, that sparks her to take out her lightsaber and start deflecting the blaster bolts. And then it's cutting back and forth between the two. They're fighting. Kenobi and Vader are fighting. And they're just going back and forth. And let me tell you, it is amazing. And it gets to the point where even Kenobi tries to collapse one of the pinnacles onto Vader. And he just, boom, puts his hand up and stops it. And
that's where Vader says, "You've gotten stronger."
Yep. You've gotten stronger.
Gotten stronger since the last time.
Yep. And this was really cool. And this was another callback to Revenge of the Sith, where it's the opposite. Vader gets to the point where he collapses the ground and Kenobi falls. And you just see Vader standing over him in a pit.
Vader, when he went down, he did it on purpose. He slammed his hand into the ground and it split
Just
the ground
everything.
Going towards Obi-Wan. And then it collapsed in. And, obviously he fell down. And
I was hoping that Vader would have said, "I have the high ground."
that would have been perfect.
That would have been so awesome and such a smack in the face.
But in a way he did, because of what he did after he came up to the ledge of that pit and looked down.
Yes. He looked
and then he just starts taking all these mountains of rock, throwing them down on top of one after the other. And when he's finally done, he goes, "Did you really think
you would
defeat me?" And I'm sitting here going,
oof.
Part of me's going, yeah. And the other part of me is going, shut up, because it can't be over.
Yeah. And then he continues to taunt him. And then it looks like he's fully buried and he walks away. But you could tell Obi-Wan was using the Force to save himself.
Oh, yeah.
But
that's a shitload of rock being thrown down on top of him.
Yeah.
And it's not like he was gently setting him down. He was
kicking the shit out of him, that's for sure.
He was slam dunking every one of them rocks that he added to that pile.
Yep. Now, from there, we cut back to Tatooine. Reva's still attacking the Lars family. And it gets to the point where she disarms Owen and then senses that Luke is very much loved by Owen, so to speak. Because, listen, he's his uncle, but you know what? That's his dad. That's his father figure.
As far as he knows, that's his dad.
Right. I mean, don't get me wrong. He always called him Uncle Owen. He did. I've
got a family member that I always called Uncle too.
Yeah.
But, he wasn't my uncle.
Well, I mean,
that's just a nickname that they had for him.
But that goes with anything, because if you think about it, they never really lied to him. Your parents are dead. Yeah, they are. I'm your uncle. This is your aunt. I'm uncle, but he's theirs. He's theirs.
Well, and she asks a very interesting question.
Hmm.
And she goes, "Why do you love him like his son?"
Because he
And
is.
Owen's answer was perfect. Because he is my son.
Right. He is my son.
I mean, that's just like when somebody, adopts somebody. They're not your biological kid. They're still your kid.
Right.
You're going to love them like you gave birth to them.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing in this.
Aside from that response, though, he also says to Reva, "What do you want?" And she replies, "Justice." She wants justice. And you're like, so why go
Just
after
for
Luke?
who? Justice for who?
Well, justice
whose
for
justice is it that you are seeking?
justice for, Order
At,
66.
at the beginning of this, at that point in time, it was Justice Vader.
Yeah.
Is what she was going for. But you know that Obi-Wan took that little seed in the back of her mind and made that grow
Right.
and made that bloom. So that's sitting back there.
Oh, absolutely.
But you don't think about that because of all the action that is going on between the fight with her and the Owen family and Obi-Wan and Darth.
Yeah.
Or Anakin. I mean, and it's so fast.
Oh, yeah. It's back and forth all the time.
Right about the time you're saying, okay, I can digest. Oh shit, we're over here now. Start over.
All right, let's do it.
And that's why I keep saying it. I can't help but keep saying that this was choreographed.
Oh, so
Beautiful.
well. The editing was amazing.
Oh, I mean, I can literally see them sitting there for days.
Yeah.
Script boarding this out.
Absolutely. So Owen attacks Reva once again, but she breaks the stick that he's holding with her lightsaber. Beru tries to stop her. She pushes Beru out of the way, and Luke escapes through a window, and he heads towards Beggar's Canyon, which is exactly what he was told to do. Run. Get out of here and run. Reva sees that he escapes, so now she's going after Luke. At this same time, Kenobi's under rock. And you could see he's just like, I can't believe this is happening. And he's going through everything that he's gone through with Obi-Wan. With Anakin. Of all the fights. Everything that he did with Anakin. Everything without Anakin. Everything. He was just seeing everything. The twins being born. Padme dying. Like everything. Everything is just flashing
the things
through.
that happened with Leia, flashes to Luke on the farm.
Yep.
Kind of like the classic your life flashing before your eyes kind of thing.
Yeah. And
but at the same time he's still using the Force to hold the rocks off of him, but getting weak.
But did you see the difference though? Because as he was remembering all of those memories, he started remembering everything about Luke and Leia.
Yep.
And that's when he started getting stronger.
Leia falling and him catching her, and the hug and all those things.
Holding hands, you name it. Everything.
Holster, the whole nine yards.
Yep.
I mean, it was
and
very, very prophetic.
That's when he scatters all the debris that was pinning him down. He gets up out of the hole, and Vader stops.
He's just strolling along, and all of a sudden the hairs on the back of his head started going.
He turns around, and there's Kenobi with his lightsaber, and the two of them start going at it once again. Only this time,
Obi-Wan's hit.
Obi-Wan just starts throwing rock after rock after rock after rock. And don't get me wrong, it's a testament to Vader of how strong he is, but he's getting pummeled.
I love the way that they did it because he's got the lightsaber in his,
Yeah.
and he just sticks both hands out, and all you see behind him is all these freaking boulders. They're not rocks, they're boulders.
Yep. Boulders.
Rise up behind him, fill the entire sky behind him. And all he's doing is he's standing here like this.
Yep.
And foo, 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 and these rocks just start flying.
Yeah.
I mean, how freaking epic. And you know, flashing back to earlier in the fight when, because Darth had done that to him. He used boulders to take Obi's legs out from underneath him at one point. You know, throwing the rock that he stopped, throwing that back at Obi-Wan, and all those kind of things. And it's, I'm sorry, but this fight scene was just so epic.
Amazing.
I mean, you had, in any fight, you have ebbs and flows on both sides.
Yeah.
And they had that. They had the struggle inside of Obi-Wan about, you know, fighting against Anakin again.
Yeah.
You know, and fighting for, you know, all the people on the ship and for Leia and for Luke, and, you know, fighting at the same time to try and, you know, because at this point in time, he still thinks, hey, maybe, just maybe, there's a little bit of Anakin left in there, which is flashbacks to, or which is a flash to the one where Han Solo died.
Yeah.
Where Leia said, I can still see the light in him.
Yes. Same thing.
And it's just so much stuff going on all at one time.
Yeah. Same
but
thing.
It still had, like I said, it still had those ebbs and flows on each side. It was just, man, I can't. And this right here, folks, this is why I said 6 episodes for this fight scene alone, or 6 lightsabers for this fight scene alone.
And I think this is the scene that everybody was waiting for too. You know,
this is JT geeking out.
Yeah. The other thing is, once he finished pummeling him with rocks, you heard that wheeze from Return of the Jedi when he was, you know, getting his butt kicked by Luke.
That's when he went in with the elbow and the butt of the lightsaber and was busting up that control panel.
Yeah, destroyed it.
Yeah, he destroyed that control panel, which controlled his breathing.
Yeah.
Or assisted with his breathing.
So they continue to fight. They do. They continue to fight, and they do what they need to do. And as they're doing that, they cut back to Tatooine. Luke is in Beggar's Canyon, but Reva is really, like, she's catching up to him. She's doing what she needs to do. And then it cuts back. And Obi-Wan, as they're fighting, finally hits Vader right across the mask and splits the mask open. Now, if you pay attention to detail, like I do, you will notice something happens. When his mask gets split open on one side down the middle, and I believe it was the left side,
out of his face,
you can see on his head that he now has a burn mark and a scar from the lightsaber.
Well, even when he hit him across the back.
Yeah, but
a little bit earlier in the scene, even when he hit him across the back, as they zoomed up to an overhead shot, see his cape burning.
Yes, but that's not even the attention to detail I'm talking about. The scar that was on his head was right up at the top where the helmet broke, and it was the same exact formation of the scar that was on Vader's head in Return of the Jedi. When Luke takes the helmet off, you can see a scar on the left side of his head. And that is now explained with this episode that Obi-Wan did it. Which, whoa. Again, attention to detail because you don't want to mess with stuff like that. Something like that, if they, hey, this doesn't do this doesn't do that. No, he got the head. He got him. Clear as day. At that point in time, Vader gets up. You can hear the wheezing. You can hear him breathing. But you can also hear him talking as Anakin now. Mixed in with James Earl Jones. So the two are now talking. That's what's happening. It's going through the mask. It's not going through the mask. So on and so forth. And Obi-Wan says that he's sorry. He apologizes. And again, reference to Revenge of the Sith. I failed you. Anakin. You know, he's taking full responsibility for him becoming a Sith Lord. And Obi-Wan is still saying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry this has happened to you. I'm sorry that you turned to the dark side. I'm sorry I failed you and couldn't help you.
And this is where the change.
Oh, this was
Obi-Wan.
This brought everything full circle in Obi-Wan and Anakin's story. Okay?
And we were talking about this off air. In my opinion, this is where Obi-Wan Kenobi's issues and struggle and strife when it came to Anakin.
Yep.
And it comes to a stop point.
Boom.
And this is where Anakin is no longer alive. This is where the only one that is there, Darth Vader.
Yep. And Vader replied with, he is not his failure. I am not your failure. And Vader,
what was it? You didn't
Vader
kill me. I did, or something like that.
No, well, he says that Vader is not Obi-Wan's failure. And then he says, you did not kill Anakin Skywalker. I did.
Yeah.
Darth Vader killed Anakin. When
he said that, man, I got chills.
Which brings it full circle.
Yep.
Full circle, because what's mentioned in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi? Vader killed my father. No, I'm your father. And in Return of the Jedi is, no. When Anakin Skywalker became Darth Vader, he ceased to be Anakin Skywalker. So from what I told you was true, from a certain point of view, Vader killed Anakin. It brought it full circle. Again, paying attention to detail. Some people will probably say, oh, no, that's a cop-out. That's a cop-out. No, it's paying attention to detail. Because you already have this lore that's there. We knew Anakin turned to the dark side. We knew he became Darth Vader. But you don't really understand it until you hear it from the mouth of the Dark Lord of the Sith. The Emperor wasn't going to be the person that's going to say, no, Vader killed Anakin. Vader is Anakin. He's just one with the Force on the dark side. The Force obeys him now, you know?
The only thing he did was give him...
Was what?
Was give him his...
Yeah.
Shall now.
Yeah. So from there, Kenobi says, well, then my friend is truly dead. Which is true.
Say it. Say the words.
Oh, don't you worry. I will.
Say the words.
I will. Don't you worry. And then he says to him, goodbye, Darth. Never called him Darth Vader. He never called him Darth Vader. Because even in the earlier episodes, it was always Anakin. It wasn't Darth Vader. And in A New Hope, he didn't call him Darth Vader either. He just called him Darth.
That's why I say that's where the story of Anakin died. That's the story of Anakin ends.
Yeah.
100%. That's where
full
the story
circle
of Darth Vader really started.
Full circle. And
Yeah.
not for nothing, once we get to the end, the other thing is you have 10 years of adventures to go with. And we'll get into that because we do have to finish up. Okay? As that's happening, Kenobi's now walking away and he leaves the moon, but he also senses that something is going on and it has to do with Reva, and he sees that Luke is on the run. He sees a vision, so he heads to Tatooine. Reva is in pursuit in Beggar's Canyon. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. She catches up to him, uses the Force, makes the rocks fall. He falls off the cliff. And as she's standing over Luke Skywalker with her lightsaber drawn, she's ready to kill him.
It freaked me out when she looked at Luke and saw herself.
Wasn't that cool?
It freaked me the hell out. I was like, whoa, wait a minute, she's seeing that.
She's seeing her younger self because she's seeing the visions of Order 66. And the first thing that happens when she sees that is she doesn't want that. She doesn't want to become that. Because if she did become that, you're down the path of the dark side forever. Especially with her in the state that she was in. She was a kid when she got turned to the dark side to become an Inquisitor. Here we go now. Here we go now. So, she chooses not to kill him. And basically starts crying. I mean, you don't really see it, but she starts crying. Kenobi makes it to Tatooine. He gets to the farm. He's calling out for Luke. He runs over to Owen and Beru. Where's Luke? Let's find him. Let's do what we need to do. And Reva comes walking out of Beggar's Canyon with Luke in her hands. And
I mean, totally limp. I mean, when you saw that, I thought he was dead.
I thought he was dead too.
The way that he was hanging there, no body movement. No, he was just...
Yeah, but at the same time, you knew he wasn't dead because he lives. we know. And we get to the point where Obi-Wan asks her what happened, and she's just bawling her eyes out. You know? And from there, she's like, why? And Kenobi says, you didn't fail. You didn't fail.
And I actually had to listen to this part twice because at first, as she's crying, she says, I failed him. But when she says it again, she says, I failed them.
Yep, I failed them.
At first, she's referring to, I failed Vader.
Nope.
By not being able to kill him. But the second time around, it's, I failed them, meaning all her brothers and sisters who were killed
exactly
on the night of Order 66.
Exactly. And that's what Kenobi was reassuring her. No, you didn't. You showed mercy. You're honoring them. That is what it takes. So you didn't fail them. And he also says to her that you're not on the dark side. You're free to choose your life. So where you go from here is your decision. You know? And she puts the blade down. Gets her up and says, we're free. We're both free.
Walk away.
Walk away. Now,
off into the moonlight.
Yeah, walk away into the moonlight while the moon's overhead. At the same time, though, Vader's at his castle on Mustafar, talking to none other than Darth Sidious, the Emperor himself. Yes, nice little cameo that we saw. Nice little cameo. And he says to him, Vader says to Sidious that he dispatched probe droids to hunt down Kenobi, and the Emperor notices that Vader is, well, pretty much being Anakin. You know, he lost. Vader lost. Simple as that. Yep. And Anakin hates to lose. So we know that. And Sidious says, I don't think that your mind is in the right place. You're done. Is this going to be a problem? And he says, no, it's not. My loyalty is to the Sith.
This is Darth come Darth.
Yes. Absolutely.
That's where because up to this point, his major focus has been Obi-Wan Kenobi, catching him, destroying him, and killing him.
Yeah.
And as Sidious says, you know what? You might not be the right guy for this position. He's like,
nope, I'm good.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am.
I'm good.
Screw him. We're good. Let's rock and roll.
I'm good.
You know.
So now we fast forward to Alderaan. Leia's back on Alderaan. She's back with her parents. She's getting ready. She puts the holster on, and her mother comes in. Is that a holster? Yeah. Okay. It looks wonderful.
I love it.
I love it. And they go and walk out to one of the platforms, and her father's there, and she says, who are we meeting today? And as the ship lands, it's Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan kept his promise, said he would see her again, and starts talking to her. And says that, things are going to change. Things have to change. You're going to be at the forefront of things. You need to be there. But if you need me, all you got to do is call me. And he also gives her Lola back because he borrowed Lola. So from there,
she sticks Lola in the holster.
She sticks Lola in the holster, and he says to her, she's wise, discerning, kind-hearted, all these positive things, and that she's a leader. And that she's going to be very, very important. Passionate, fearless, forthright, sometimes a little too honest.
What I love about that was, when he said all the good things, like, those you got from your mother.
And everything else you got
everything else you got from father.
Yep.
And so he broached the subject, but closed the subject all at one time.
Yes.
With her, which I thought was really, really cool because, he'd always wondered, did you know my parents?
Right.
And, now he let her know, hey, yes, two of them, what I tell you about.
Absolutely. And from
you
there,
do have traits of both mother and father.
From there, he says to her, listen, if you need me, I'm here. Be careful, though. You have to use caution. You don't want to contact me directly, but I'm here. If you need me, I'm here. Will I see you again? Yeah, most likely.
Tie into the original Star Wars.
Yep. And then from there, he gets back on the ship, and he sails off to Tatooine, where we're back on Tatooine, and he gets to the farm. And, he doesn't get to the farm. He goes back to his cave, where he's been hiding. Gathers up his stuff, because for him, it's time to move on. It's time to
hide there no more.
Time to stop being in the cave as a cave dweller and hiding under the radar. And it's time to continue to do what he was doing by not only looking over Luke, who really doesn't need looking over at the moment, but he needs to move on from what he was doing. And he sees the toy T-16 Starfighter that he had, that he was originally going to give to Luke on his birthday. And when he's walking away, he packs everything up. He gets on his animal camel type thing. I forget the name of it. And what's it? The Opie? I think it's the Opie. E-O-P-I-E. Which is basically just a camel with like a snout, kind of,
It's a camel with an elephant trunk.
Yeah. And he goes to the Lars farm and talking to Owen. And Owen says, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? And he says that, Luke needs to be a boy. He needs to grow up to be a boy. And Owen agreed with him. He does. Oh,
that's what he'd been telling him the whole time.
And he says, you're his protector. You are the person that's going to make him the man that he's going to turn into. And he even says, I'll be here. I'm here if you need me. Don't hesitate to reach out. I will protect you guys. So he's there, but he's not. He'll be in the shadows. And Owen actually has a change of heart and says, do you want to meet him?
Obi's dead in his track.
Stopped him. So sure enough, he goes over and he brings the T-16 Starfighter and he says, hello there. Just like Alec Guinness did, just like he did in Revenge of the Sith and a couple of others. In the TV series, he said that a couple of times. That's his line. Hello there. And you don't see much of the communication between him and Luke, but you see him. They're there. They're talking. And he gives him the T-16, and then he starts riding off into the sunset towards Beggar's Canyon. And at this point in time, a lot of us Star Wars fans were waiting for it. We had seen it in Clone Wars.
At this point, Sully geeked out.
I think every Star Wars fan geeked out. Because as he's approaching Beggar's Canyon, Kenobi is greeted by his old master, Qui-Gon Jinn. And he was very surprised to see him, Master Qui-Gon. And he says, where have you been? and Qui-Gon said the greatest thing. He just goes, well, I've always been here. You just weren't ready to see me yet. Even though Yoda was teaching Obi-Wan how to commune with him. And nothing. He never showed up. And
which he did when he was sitting on the Starfighter before he dropped out of the ship and pulled Vader away.
Yeah. Now, at the same time, Qui-Gon then says, come on. There's still some distance to travel. And the two continue walking through Beggar's Canyon. So, and that's it. That ends Obi-Wan Kenobi. It does. Now, I will be the first one to tell you that is so open-ended. And we know we know he lives to be on A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, where he's a ghost.
What happens in between?
Right. You've got 10-year-old twins and about 8 to 10 years of adventures lying ahead of you. So what does happen? Are we going to get a season 2? Probably not. Could there be? Yes, there could be. But we don't know. We don't know. So JT, we've already discussed it at length. This episode alone, just the episode, how many lightsabers do you give it?
All right, real quick. Nikaya message.
Hi.
Says, my vote for Obi-Wan Kenobi last episode is 5 lights.
Ooh, there you go.
And I also have her score for the entire series, but I'll hold.
All right, well, let's do lightsabers first. Just the episode.
Oh, I don't know. And I can't give it a 5. Can't. But I can give it a 4.9.
That's just wrong. Especially if you rated the fight scene alone with 6. I mean, that's like
4.9. I mean, this episode was amazing from start to finish.
Yeah.
I've been harping on it since we started talking about the choreography.
Mm-hmm.
The literal dance that they did with 3 different storylines to start that dropped into 2 and then went back out into 3.
Yes.
And I mean, it was like one of the most beautiful waltzes I've ever seen live. Choreography.
Oh, it was amazing.
The fight scene, both the one with the Owens family and Reva, and obviously the fight scene between between Anakin and Obi-Wan, just amazing from start to finish. You know me, I hardly ever give anything a 5.
That's true.
I've only done it once.
That is also true.
I got to give it a 4.9.
Oof.
Got to give it a 4.9. And only because of the fact I'm pissed at the way they left
Well, I mean, come on. You knew it was going to happen.
it.
You knew it was going to happen. That's why I'm giving it a 5. It's a 5 for me. Flat out,
Yeah.
5. Because the one thing that you definitely took away with this was that Obi-Wan was actually stronger than Anakin. He was stronger than Anakin. This episode proved it. This episode alone proved it. That Obi-Wan was stronger than Anakin was, or at least stronger than Darth Vader. You know, was Anakin the chosen one? Was he powerful? Absolutely he was. You know, and it just goes to show that with tying it all together, Obi-Wan was stronger and wiser than Anakin could ever be.
So they,
You know, so 5 for me. Overall, what do you give it?
overall, Nakaya gave it 5 lightsabers
Nice.
and simply said one thing in triplicate. Loved it, loved it, loved it.
Nice. Awesome. Awesome. What do you give it?
I'm going to give it my second ever 5. I'm going to give it my second ever 5. The series as a whole addressed a lot of things that have been sitting in the back of my mind since they came out with the prequel.
Ooh, so it answered a lot of stuff.
Since they came out with the prequels and since they came out with Mandalorian.
Yep.
Oh, and all the stuff with Grogu, you know, just started addressing all this time in between. And this one was just it was sitting at about a 4.5 overall before this episode.
Okay.
Only reason the episode didn't get a 5 was because I couldn't do it. Can't do it for the series because of everything that it encompassed.
Right.
You know, I mean, it made reference. There was references in this movie to pretty much all 6 other movies.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, and the fight scene with Darth and Obi put it over there. And then Qui-Gon Jinn at the end.
Well, I'm giving it a 5 as well. I loved this series. I did.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is right up there with season 2 of Mandalorian. And I mean, right up there. Like, they're neck and neck. I think Obi-Wan's just a little bit better than season 2 of Mandalorian. And everybody knows that I love The Mandalorian. So, case in point, the shirt that I'm wearing. So yeah. And JT's got Grogu all over the place. So, you know, yeah, it's there. We love it. We love it. So, I'm giving it a 5 for the series. I can't wait for Ahsoka to come out. I can't.
Oh,
that's going to be
a
good one.
I gotta get something.
Ahsoka is going to be a good one. What type of story they're going to tell? I have a feeling they're going to continue the search for, for some pretty bad people. Admiral Thrawn is going to be the bad guy, so that's going to be awesome. When that comes out, I don't know. I don't remember, but it's going to be fantastic. Mandalorian Season 3 is coming out soon. Yay. Awesome. It's happening. So I can't wait for that. All in all, this was a great series. And JT's got the grin on his face. The periodic table of Marvel. Love it. Love it.
Got my first superhero shirt.
Oh, look at that. See, this is what happens when you're friends with a geek.
That's only one of them. I got another one.
So with that being said, next week's Avenger Pretender will only be Ms. Marvel.
Yep. God.
So yeah, that'll be interesting to say the least. Episode 4 of Ms. Marvel will be live next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Tomorrow, the Sully Show will be live at 8 p.m. Eastern. Myself, JT, and our wonderful female lead, our third chair, Trisha, will be with us. So yeah, we've got some cool stuff to talk about. So check us out then. And yeah, you guys have been watching Avenger Pretenders right here on Accidental Punch TV. I appreciate it as always. So for myself, Sully, and JT, we will see you guys next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, and for the Sully Show tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern as well, only on Accidental Punch TV. We will see you guys later. Thanks for joining. Bye. And we're gonna do this. And we're going to do a raid, too. So, make sure you use Punchers Unite. We're going to raid Short Stuff. She's playing Fall Guys. It's going to be wonderful. We'll see you guys later, all right? We'll see you guys later. I promise it'll be fun. It'll be fun.